All right, my friend, welcome back to another episode. Now, anybody who knows me knows that, man, if anything breaks, I am SOL. I'm upriver without a paddle. That's the same with even my refrigerator over there. Just a little fix could change everything, but I tell you what, I don't know the first step to getting that fixed. I'm the guy that's going to go out and buy a brand new fridge when really it could be just a $100 fix. Well, this guy over here is who you need to get to know. We have Nate Steeman from A to Z Appliance Service. Great to be talking to you again, my friend. How you been? You doing all right?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, A to Z Appliance Service, you guys have been around for how long now?
Since 1961.
Since 1961, but your dad started the company.
Yes, my dad started it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Growing up, was it his business that he was at countless hours on end, and then he would call you in saying, Nate, I need you at the shop? Were you, working when you were still like, a kid? How old were you when he, initially started the business?
I was pretty young. I showed him once I could carry his toolbox, and he thought that was an application to have me ride along with him.
Oh, he's like, okay, you can carry this toolbox. This kid has the chops. He's going to be taking over this family empire one day. It's funny, my stepdad growing up, it's like if we could hold a flashlight for him, if he was like, doing something on the car, that meant that we could apparently handle it.
Right.
So how did he get that started, by the way? Like, did his dad teach him, a couple things about repairing appliances, or how did the whole business get started in the first place?
So my dad always had a passion for mechanical operations of things. He loved to tear cars apart. Anything that he could take apart, he really enjoyed fixing it. So when he moved into the Dayton area, appliance repair was a field that he could get into to provide for his family. I think his first passion was really automobiles and fixing those, but the appliance repair business was an easy way to get into business for himself to provide for his family. Okay,
and so at some point, after carrying that toolbox a few times, how did you really get your foot in the door? Aside from that, did you have a little bit of a passion for it as well, or was it just kind of like, hey, this is just what we do?
Oddly enough, looking back, it did seem to come pretty natural for me. I went to Wright State, graduated with a degree, thought I would graduate my way out of appliance repair, but as I heard my friends talking about what they called cool jobs that they were getting, I was more comfortable with the appliance repair business, so I went back and started working with my dad again.
Yeah, and so was it just you two as you guys were getting up and going? It was just you two?
Just us two.
Yeah.
And my mom would answer the phones.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, about how many people do you have working for you now these days?
In Ohio, about 23.
In Ohio, so you guys service outside of Ohio?
Yes.
Okay, so you have multiple locations, or?
Yeah, we have a location in Little Rock and a location in San Antonio and a location in Roanoke.
Okay, now, did you have those locations when your dad was still at the helm, or did you just kind of took the reins and said, hey, we're blowing this thing up?
It took me a long time to get my dad to be comfortable hiring our first employee. So he was not really comfortable with having employees. So that took some time to get him comfortable with that. And then Whirlpool and Maytag seemed to appreciate the job we did here in Ohio. So when other markets would open up, they would reach out and ask if we were interested.
Yeah, I really want to talk about some of your success here in just a moment. But you said something that I really want to dive into, if you don't mind. You said your dad took a little time in convincing, like, hey, we should have some other employees.
Yeah.
So, and I know this to be true. I suffer from it myself. It's like you feel like nobody can do what you do, so it's hard to hire. Yeah. Was that the case growing up?
I think so. He was very passionate about doing a good job for people. So he would have concerns about bringing in somebody else who might not have the same passion he does.
Yeah, the same passion and just the quality of care.
Correct.
When something, yeah. Now, what about you? Where do you fall in that?
Well, I'm still picky. But I wanted the opportunity to help other people fulfill their dreams as well, provide for their families, stuff like that. I felt like Jen and I could provide a good system that would, give them a decent work day, decent work wage, We don't work weekends. We don't want them working any later into the evening till they have to, because family is a very important part of anybody's livelihood, we feel. So we just want them to be able to do those things they want to do with their family.
Yeah, of course, Jen, as you mentioned, your wife, who's sitting right off camera right now, but how important is it to have that teammate when it comes to, you know, owning a small business and growing it to the place where, you know, you have multiple locations now? How important is it to have someone you can lean on? And I mean, your dad was leaning on you during the early days,
Right.
and I'm sure that Jen now is that person for you.
Right. It's huge to have somebody that you can talk to, which Jen is a great sounding board for me. As far as team members in the daily grind, out servicing the appliances, stuff like that, it's huge to have the confidence in them, knowing that they're out there trying to do a good job.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned too that, you know, since you guys really started taking things to the next level, you had these bigger brands, you know, that were calling you and really wanting you to take things to the next level. You mentioned Whirlpool, Maytag.
Yep.
Now, do you have like some sort of exclusive partnership with them now? How does that all work? I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how to fix my refrigerator. You know, there's a little piece that I need to get fixed. Before you leave, I need to have you take a look at that. Secondly, you know, but how does that work in that world? You know, for appliances, does, you know, you start repairing one particular brand and they say, hey, we really like the quality of, you know, service that you guys do. Can you be an exclusive, you know, service provider? How does that whole world, you know, work?
So, you know, obviously the brands have a drive to take care of their customers. And I think you'd find that in any brand out there. We had a very good working relationship with Whirlpool early on. And with the quality of work that we did, we were honored that they asked us to handle more of their work. So Whirlpool developed a network of companies across the country. We were asked to be part of that network, and that's been a great ride. I do feel like other manufacturers have followed the same step. I think there's a lot of value in big corporate giants like a Whirlpool and other manufacturers being able to work with the local talent who knows the city where they're working, knows the people, just the variables that come into play from even from a San Antonio to a Dayton, let alone a New Orleans or a Baton Rouge or something like that. Just having a company that just knows the local economy, is involved locally in charities and other events, I think just better represents the brand than maybe what a big corporate workforce service would do.
Well, let me ask you about that then. Are you guys involved with some charities and some different organizations here locally?
Yes.
Okay. What are you involved in?
There's a couple food pantries that we work with, one in Fairborn and First Place Food Pantry up in Troy. We do work with them. The Isaiah 117 house that is in the process of being built. We've been an early supporter of them. Those are the ones off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, why is that important to you? So you're involved in, you know, several, you know, and, you know, I admire other entrepreneurs, and, you know, as I am growing in my entrepreneurial journey, you know, I love really taking notes of what successful entrepreneurs and business owners are doing. And that's a common thread is, you know, giving back to your community. And that's something, you know, I try to do as much as I can, you know, given time or resources that I have at the moment. But why is that important for you to have that be a pillar in what A to Z Appliance Service is all about?
I think it just helps strengthen the community in general. I don't normally go out and promote that we donated to these causes. I think just supporting them because the First Place Food Pantry and places like that are going to have a better distribution center to reach the people that it needs than we are capable of. So just to be able to help them with the stuff they do. The Isaiah 117 house, I like their the drive on what they're trying to accomplish with kids that have to be removed from a home, giving them a better place to go than an office space with a cot and a sleeping bag. So we just want to help support those causes that help make the community better. Not that, we're able to go do anything hands-on, because again, they're the better setup, they're the experts. We just want to help make it easier for them to be a success. And again, I just think that all ties into community.
Mm-hmm. And was that something that was kind of drilled into you at an early age, the importance of trying to help those less fortunate, trying to make those connections to make your community stronger?
Yes. So.
Something from your mom, from your dad?
My dad, he liked to help out wherever he could. My mom was great at having people over. I never knew families that were in need or families that were wealthy, anything like that. They were friends, but I did know the situations where my dad would, hey, don't worry about paying for this job. I got you. It's taken care of, because they were in a needy time or a needy situation at that time.
And what's your thoughts on that as well? I mean, that sounds like your dad was like an awfully generous guy when he was at the helm, with A to Z, and that's something, again, like I try my best to give those extra services where I can and to help people in the time, because at the end of the day, like with what I'm doing, I want to go out, I want to promote local businesses, but that is my business. But at the same time, understanding where you can add value to someone's life. But at the same time, making sure that at the end of the day, you can still put food on the table. Right. So, there's that balance that you have to figure out. But I really want to understand too. It's from your business's standpoint. You have all these people that have all these problems. Like whether it's a washer, a dryer, a refrigerator, an oven, a dishwasher, stuff like that. How often are you finding people that it's a really easy fix. It's a really, really easy fix, but they're going out and they are spending money on a brand new washer when really it could have been a $100 fix, but they go ahead and spend $2,500 on a brand new washer. Right. I don't know if that's how much a washer costs these days. I haven't bought one in a long time, but how often are you seeing that where it's like you want that instant gratification, so you'll go out and spend a couple $1,000s rather than just making a call, having somebody come out and just spend the time to do that? How often do you see that?
Surprisingly often.
Yeah.
It probably happens the most with dryers and refrigerators. My dryer's taking too long to dry, so they think a new dryer will solve it. They get the new dryer, we go out. No, it wasn't your dryer, it was your dryer vent is plugged. And they're disappointed that they bought a new dryer when that wasn't the problem. Refrigerators, it's making ice too slow, so the compressor must be going out when really all they need to do is clean the condenser coils down underneath the refrigerator. So, we want to be effective and efficient when we go out and take care of customers. We want to give them a lot of information to hopefully save a service call moving forward. Love seeing the reviews that we get that our technicians are providing the information to the customer to hopefully save them from having to call for service in the future for the same issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see it quite a bit. I get picking up the phone, calling a service company. You can be concerned because you don't know if it's going to be $100, you don't know if it's going to be $700. With depending on what publication you look at, it seems like our service averages, including service call parts and labor, seem to be below the national average. So that doesn't mean we're going to be able to fix you every time for $50 or $100 or anything like that. But our technicians are committed. In Ohio, with the exception of our son, who is 22 years old, all of our technicians in Ohio have been with us 5+ years, some of them up 14, 15 years. So we have a really experienced group of guys here in Ohio to go out and take care of you.
Well, you just brought something to my attention. So your son works for you too now, huh?
Yeah, both of them do.
Both of your kids. Yeah. Okay. So are you going to be passing on the torch? Are they following in your footsteps when you get for your dad? Is that what's about to happen?
Much to maybe my wife's chagrin, I'm not tired of it yet. So
yeah. So you said 2 kids?
Yes.
2 kids. How old are they?
22 and 25.
Okay, gotcha. Now, do they have a knack for it as well? They enjoy it, have a passion for it? Because it sounds like this all started from passion. Your dad's passion for helping people. He had an expertise in this, particular area when it came to appliances. He passed that on to you. It sounds like you have that same level of passion, and obviously you must, because you've scaled the business,
right.
And that you don't scale a business without some passion behind it. So do you see that same level of passion in your guys?
I do, and they're in two totally different roles within the company, but they both have expressed interest in being there. One of the things I didn't want to do when they were growing up was force them into a family business, but once it clicked and they wanted to step in, they've done a great job.
Yeah,
so
that's what it's all about. I really want to go back to people that will spend an arm and a leg on a brand new appliance. Yeah. Because, like I said, I've been guilty of that before. What are some things that people can take with them right now, just to troubleshoot on their own? Because you have a full crew, multiple locations that will come out, provide that education where is needed, and help them get that problem taken care of. But what are some things that are easy to do on your own when it comes to any appliance? And I know it's not a one size fits all, but like, if you had like a little checklist that you could give somebody right now to say like, hey, whether it's your washer, your dryer, your oven, your dishwasher, your fridge, what are some things that you just want to look out for from the get-go?
Cleaning the condenser coils on your refrigerator, which most of them are located down below the refrigerator section, especially in this type of heat that we're having right now. Refrigerators are working so hard just to keep the food cool. One of the first symptoms that your condenser coils are maybe a little dirtier than what they should be is your ice maker starts slowing down. So you get to the hottest time of year and you don't have enough ice to keep your drinks cold. Frustrating for us personally. Sometimes with our customers, some of them are more upset when their ice maker doesn't work versus the whole refrigerator being dead. So we want to get out and get that taken care of. But from a consumer standpoint, make sure your condenser coils are clean on your refrigerator. Dryer, making sure your dryer vent is clean. And then with the high efficiency washers, which they all are today, and dishwashers, back in the day there were third horse motors washing and draining, washing the dishes, draining the water out. Now they've tried to figure out what's the smallest motor they could put in there to do the job. So making sure you run cleaning tablets through the washer and the dishwasher to keep the hoses clean, the impellers clean, the spray arms clean is huge towards preventing the need for our company to come out and do a really good job taking care of you.
Yeah. I asked you that question kind of for two reasons. One, obviously I wanted to make sure, for the person who is listening or watching this episode of the podcast could, save themselves a couple $1,000s, just by being able to fix that themselves. But also, I just really wanted to, again, hear you, flex your expertise. Before we started this episode, your wife said, just pretend you're at a conference. Pretend you're at a conference and you'll, be able to talk nonstop, right. Which is, it's a funny thing. Like, I love geeking out and talking nerd stuff about marketing. I really enjoy it, and I can sit there and riff on it for a long time. How does that work when you go to those conferences? It's like a group of guys that all own these appliance businesses. You guys can just talk for hours about like, oh yeah, the coils, the dryer vents. Like, you guys can just geek out on it.
100%. So from what the current most popular part is that we're working on, situations that we've run into because certain manufacturers don't carry parts after a certain amount of time. Good things our techs have done, bad things our techs have seen. The first several years of conventions was all business talk.
Yeah.
And yes, we could talk all night about it. Now, as you build up those relationships, we get in, we're talking about what our families are doing, kids going to school, kids working in the business, kids not working in the business, being successful somewhere else. So it's a lot of fun to get to know other companies around the country personally. But yes, we can talk a lot of business. We geek out.
That's what I have found, that business, at the end of the day, all really is relationships and getting to know people, making connections. And, we met through an organization called the Heart of Centerville, which is, a networking group that meets, weekly here in the Miami Valley area, specifically Centerville. But that's what I've really learned, is that business really is all about relationships. And for somebody that's listening right now, that isn't just just somebody who lives here in the Miami Valley that's getting some value from knowing if something goes out on one of their appliances, what they can do. But I also like these conversations to be a little bit inspirational as well. And some people have a calling, or they may be working in a 9-to-5 job, and they've always wanted to start their own business and do something on their own. And obviously you've grown into that, and your boys are being grown into that as well. What kind of advice would you have for somebody that does have a passion for something, to start making those connections in those relationships? Like, if you have an idea for a business, a product or service, how would you suggest somebody gets that road and that journey started?
Well, once you recognize your passion, which can be challenging, because if it comes really easy to you, you don't know that it comes really difficult to somebody else. But once you recognize that passion, trying to find what networking circle that would be a good fit for. And sometimes that's just visiting places like the heart of Centerville or a BNI group and stuff like that, and verifying that there really is a need for it. And also in those groups are thankfully a lot of people who are willing to answer questions and give guidance to a new business owner or somebody looking to start their own business, which is huge. It can save a lot of people a lot of mistakes from the things you don't think about, paying taxes and things like that, because you just want to get the product out there and sell it. So getting some good advice, visiting those type of groups, I think there's a lot of value to it.
What about mentorship? Is that something you've invested time and energy and money into before?
I would like to invest more of it. I would like to do a better job of that. With my focus on the business or businesses, I have not done as good a job at that as I would like to. I like to be available to answer questions, and especially at conventions and stuff, I do get a lot of questions there on how to grow the business and the appliance repair, things like that. I would like to do a better job locally than what I have.
Yeah. Now, how do you find the balance? Because with multiple locations now, and you guys are staying awfully busy, how do you find the balance of personal, professional life? Because I can only imagine I struggle with it. I definitely have many times in my life, but as looking at you, who you have multiple locations, it's been a successful business from your dad to you. One day your sons take it over. How do you walk that line of knowing, am I spending too much time on work, not enough time on family, or I'm slipping, I'm not focusing on the things I need to be with my business? How do you work through all that?
Is my wife giving me the evil eye right now?
She's giving you a nice little grin.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Early on, especially when the kids were young, I definitely put a lot of time into growing it. Working late. I used to run a lot of calls, probably more than I should have. I did make the time to make sure I could be involved with the kids and the sports teams that they were involved with growing up, things like that. The last several years, I've tried to be more committed to having the weekends where I don't do anything. When I leave the office, I'm done for the evening on that side of it. Having your own business, it's tough because there are just certain things that pop up that you have to deal with. And there's nobody else there who can answer that particular question or handle that particular situation. As I continue to build my team, I try and build it so that maybe I don't have to be the answer guy for everything. And I got some team members who are starting to step up. I've had some over the years who have done a good job taking stuff off my plate, which allowed me to really start being more serious on taking the weekends off. I joked with some guys that I still haven't taken Jen on the great trip that I would love to take her on, that bucket list trip.
Where's that at?
Working on it. Out of the country somewhere.
Okay.
With a beach.
TBD, to be decided.
So yeah, she's definitely dropped the hints of some places she'd like to go, from the Caribbean to Hawaii and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can pull one of those off.
Well, and the one thing that, people have told me over and over again, and I'm trying so hard to pencil in the time, and that's really all it takes, is just penciling the time to do it. But you need that time to recharge, and what I've, again, grown to learn, and I need to do a much better job at it, but you're more effective when you have that time to recharge. So,
Yes.
it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for yourself, for your wife, your business in general, when you can unplug. And that's something I think that many of us have a hard time doing these days, especially because of like social media, because of, the accessibility that people have to you. I mean,
Right.
I can talk to anybody I want in the entire world by just pulling this thing out of my pocket and dialing the number. And so
Right.
it's hard to turn off.
It is.
Do you have a hard
Very
time
hard.
turning off on the weekend? I know that you were talking about golfing before you started, the podcast.
Yes.
And are you still thinking about work when you're on the green?
No, I do a pretty good job leaving that alone. I can just focus on golf. I've gotten I feel pretty good on the weekends of just unplugging. One of a business coaching workshop that I went to, I came home and kind of bragged to my wife of, hey, I take the weekends off. 90% of the people in this class can't figure out over 90 days. They're working 7 days a week. They can't figure out when to take a day off. So look how far ahead I am.
Yeah, look at you. You're making dreams come true. There you go. Give credit where credit is due. Well, as we wrap up here, of course, and I appreciate you taking the time to not only share a little bit of your backstory, but some advice for, people that are watching or listening right now, because, we all have a fridge, we all have an oven, we have these pricier, things in our home that, we simply just can't live without.
And they're getting more expensive. Yeah.
And they're expensive if you want to buy a brand new one. But, if there's one thing I've learned, again, over the years, is like, if you have something, make sure you take care of it,
Right.
and it will last you a long time. So I
Yes.
appreciate you sharing that information with us today. But, what's the best way for people to, before we wrap up, for people to get in touch with you, if something goes out, or maybe they want some consultation of like, hey, do we need to get a new one? Like, what's the best way for people just to get that conversation started?
So we do have a Facebook page, and on our Facebook page there's a lot of tips, even as simple as how to clean your oven glass, how to clean your cooktop. We just recently put a post out there about cleaning the condenser coils, stuff like that. So you can get a lot of good tips from us on there. Our website does have some tips, but that's going to be more geared towards scheduling service with us. And if they call in, a lot of times it's hard over the phone to really be able to give an accurate quote as to what the repair is going to be. We tore apart back in the day when you get a brand new dryer for $350. We broke one down with the entire tech team, and hey, it's not heating, but it's running. What are all the possibilities? And it was everything from a bad breaker in the customer's home, which would just be a service call charge, all the way up to $500 or $600 because this one part on the unit was a really expensive part. So it's hard to really lay that out properly simply over the phone. Our techs coming into the home, they can answer a lot of questions. They can steer you the right direction. I'm a big fan of Whirlpool and Maytag and KitchenAid refrigerators, but I'm a bigger fan of the ones that are 27 cubic feet or smaller. I'm not a big fan of the 30 cubic feet. We're empty nesters right now, so I don't need one that big, but I just like the value that the 27 cubic feet or smaller brings.
Very cool.
But getting our, I would encourage the customers that have us come out to service where it is deemed that it's time to go shopping, ask our technicians. They're the ones working on the appliances. They can give you the guidance of these are our favorite ones. If they do fail, they're the simpler and easier ones to take care of, versus these have so many sensors in them. You may have service a little more often, just because they're so technologically advanced, maybe overkill to an extent. So we want to help out with that. I mean, yes, our livelihood is based on us going out and servicing appliances, but we do really want to encourage the customer, or guide them and educate them on ways to save service calls over the years and get more out of their appliance. So instead of getting 7 or 8 years, they can get 12 to 15 years out of it.
There you go.
And,
Well,
you know, who really wants to go shopping for a new appliance? It sounds good when you're standing in the home, but when you walk into the store,
you're over it. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about IKEA.
yeah,
It sounds like a good idea until you're there and you're overwhelmed and you're halfway through it. I'm like, I just want to find the exit.
right.
That's all you want to do. Well, some great information right there, and of course, we'll be sure to link all the all your guys' details down below this video or the audio format that you're listening in right now. You'll have all the information down below. But one thing I do love to ask people that I talk to on a podcast or have a longer conversation with, aside from learning about the ins and outs of the appliance business, and I've really enjoyed hearing, about the entrepreneurial grit that, you have, and of course, the evolution of A to Z appliance service. But what's one thing that you would pass along to someone else, whether as it relates to your personal and professional life, that somebody can take with them for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year, the rest of their lives? A principle, or maybe something that your dad or your parents said to you when you were younger that you still live by today, and you've passed along to your sons and perhaps your employees as well. What would that one piece of advice be that has served you up to this point that somebody else can take and latch onto their lives?
Take care of others, and they will take care of you. It goes full circle.
It's a great little thing to live by. Nate, I appreciate the conversation today, man.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.